I might go along this part of the pinout. So we've got a map sensor, air temp, and water temp. Okay, let's do that. As you might have noticed, the process is pretty much the same. Identify the wire, cut the wire, crimp the wire, shove the wire in the ECU. But I'm going to run you through all of it because there's some things that some people might not know about. So each one of these I'm going to do individually. Or am I? No, probably all different colours, so we're probably fine. I'll start by continuity testing. So I'm only checking the signal in each of these sensors. I don't care about the earth at this stage. We're going to look at that later on. So into the signal wire. In here, find the yellow wire. Is it a straight yellow? It has to be that one because it's with a twisted black orange. There it is there. So that's my air temp. I go over to the water temp. It's another yellow wire, but it's a yellow orange. And again, there's a yellow orange with a twisted, oh, it's not that one, with a twisted earth. There was another one in here, it's this one. Here it is. Map sensor. It's going to be blue. And there's only one blue wire in here. And again, it's got an earth with it. Perfect. I found the air temp, the water temp, and the map sensor. So map sensor I'm putting into AN volt 1 because I'm using a Link map sensor. This one, 1.15 bar. That's nice and simple. It's a nice neat unit. Then I'm putting air temp, it's yellow, into temp 2. And these can be configured anyway, so you can put them around any way you want. But I try to run them all the same so I can interchange maps a bit easier. Right, that's pretty good. Next I'm going to move on to our TPS, and I might grab that speed at the same time. I'm going to come back to those earths and we'll do that as its own separate little job. With the TPS wiring and the APS wiring and the motor wiring and the knock sensor wiring, I've used a shielded cable. TPS, it's located down under here on the throttle body. This one is the accelerator position sensor, APS. The knock sensors are under there. The TPS comes up to this little joiner. I've got the pinouts for that plug. And the motor plug is here, which also has a little clutch unit in it. I'm going to strip off the shielding and join them all together and earth them. That's going to take me a few minutes to do that. I'm going to do it to all of these wires. I had in fact already gone through and continuity tested them, and I've written on each wire what they are. As you can see, it is a little bit of forward thought. I might have done one or two of these. I've also run in a signal from the little plug on the back of the gearbox into the Thunder. If we wanted to do a speed output, we can. This particular vehicle is getting a Link dash, and I would like to see some speed in there myself, especially for logging. So I've given it the ability to do that. I'm going to power the speed sensor from the 8-volt output, the regulated 8-volt output. I've done it plenty of times before without an issue. I've even run a wire in here for the reverse lights. Again, if you see the driver do something weird, puts it in reverse. Or if you wanted to, you could use it to control a relay to turn the reverse lights on. Just future-proofing for any time if we need to do some upgrades or some changes. Anyway, I'm going to strip these shielded wires, and then we'll pop those TPS wires, the APS wires, and the motor wires all into the ECU. Shield's been connected up to an earthing point. So this plug, we've got VTA and VTA2. So I'm popping VTA into AN volt 3. Again, it's just that standard practice that I use. And VTA2 into AN volt 2. It doesn't matter too much if you get we're going to call them TPS 1 or TPS main and TPS sub. If you have them around the wrong way, you can change the position of them in the software. Again, I'm trying to run to my standard tune, so I want them in the right spot if I can. There's also on these VVti's, there's a bit of a trick sometimes. Setting the throttle up correctly can give you some grief. Look out later on, I may remember to share a bit of a trick with you. We'll see. If I don't do it in this video, I'll do it in another video. Okay, so TPS is done. Now the APS, which is pretty much the same principle. I'm heading for the B plug, along with the knock sensors and those motor wires. So I'm going to clean up those ones, run the earth, and we will continue. So again, earthed off the shield. I'll be putting all these shields together. Let's pop some terminals into the ECU. So this one's the knock. I'm going to put knock 1. We're in the B plug. Knock 1 is the same cylinder that goes down to number 1 cylinder, the same side. So that is knock 1. So it relates to number 1 cylinder. And knock 2, you can allocate them to different cylinders if you want, but I'm just using standard Toyota placements. For the motor, for the drive-by-wire motor, so that's this fella here. There's also a clutch in it. But for a moment, I'm going to do the wiring there. So we're just going to check that one there. Compare it to my diagrams. Now I'm just hoping that I've got this right, because I'm sure 9 is the positive and 10 is the negative. It's going to really suck, and I'll have to edit that out if I get it wrong. Whew. And there it is, APS, accelerator position sensor. So that's this unit here. There's the plug, going by the diagrams. Pin 1 is white. So So I'm putting these myself into analog volt 10 and 11, but it doesn't actually matter. Because you can calibrate them and change them around appropriately when you put them into when you're setting up your link, when you're setting up your profile. So that actually is nice and simple. And there was my deliberate mistake for the day. I put them in the A plug, went oops, swapped them back to the B plug. We're all fine, we're good. No problems here. And just to keep these ones neat and tidy for the moment, I'm just going to pop the earth out of the loom, and I'll come back to those ones soon. Right, I'm steadily running out of wires. Right, that clutch thing. Orange and a white blue. Okay, I've just allocated an auxiliary for my clutch. So this is the throttle motor clutch. As per normal, I do a continuity test. And it's in pin 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that pin 4? Yes, it is. So the clutch will be turned on to a PWM, pulse width modulation, and that'll just keep that clutch for that throttle working like it should. Goes to the A plug. The other side will go to a 12 volt supply. Rightio, we're moving along quite well. The AVIS, again, it's got an orange wire, a little white wire. So this is advanced variable intake system. I did a video how it all works. So you're actually turning the solenoid on at low speeds. Not hard to find. So that one goes, again, it goes to an auxiliary on the ECU, and it gets turned on to a general purpose. Becomes a GP, general purpose output. And I've put that one into auxiliary 3. VVti position. Now, I've confirmed the earths. So there's 2 wires, so there's the earths. And they're going to go into the earth on the ECU, sensor earth. Oh, it's a shield, this wire here. Shield ground. That's where I'm going to put that one. The other wire is a digital input. So I'm going to go to digital input 1 and 2 in the left hand. So that's left hand. And I'm going to pop that into digital input number 1. which is in the A plug. It should be right there. Yep. And the right hand, which I have already checked, is digital input 2. Right, variable cam timing solenoids. I reckon they're going to be that purple wire. Or are they going to be grey wires? Can't even see them. Grey wire. Both grey wires. It's going to be these two here. And these are going to a pair of auxiliary outputs. And they can be set up as, you need to set them up as the correct solenoid. So inlet variable cam timing solenoid. Because I am getting low on colours now, you'll notice that I'm crimping and then checking continuity. At the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter how you do it. As long as this wire from this ECU is connected to that engine and they're set up correctly, then it will work. It also helps if you're neat and tidy. Same deal again, we just continuity test and pop them in the hole. There it is there, left hand. Oh, okay, that's enough beeping now. Whoop. So left hand I'm going to put into auxiliary number 1. And right hand into auxiliary number 2. In my loom, harness. I should call it a harness so everyone understands. There were these 3 different coloured wires, so they're alternator. And there were these 3 coloured wires. I'm starting to run out of sensors on my engine. However, I'd put oil pressure, fuel pressure, and oil temp into my ECU, or into the loom. So I'd put those sensors in. So oil pressure and fuel pressure are both on a 5-volt supply. Got little pressure sensors. We'll have a look at one. So these little fellas, and I find these are just amazing little units. They're great little units. Very simple, very easy to use. So I've got a 5-volt, an earth, and a signal coming back to my ECU from the sensor. The oil pressure and fuel pressure are both going into AN channels. Again, your choice of AN channels, it doesn't matter, providing they're calibrated correctly. And did you remember what colour we are? I didn't. Purple for oil, no, for fuel. Fuel pressure is number 7. Oil is brown, so I've got a brown coloured wire. And temp, a yellow-orange. Alternator, earths and 5 volts. Look at all these. And power supplies. Now that's going to be my next mission, is to sort all these out. There's still quite a lot of wires to do.